Welcome to the Tojo Fitness Podcast for all things diet and health and nutrition related this wonderful morning.
Yeah, so we're here to talk to you today about meal prepping. And I'm actually going to be speaking to you about some hacks, a few life hacks when it actually comes to prepping our food. And I think probably most of the conversations that I'll have with people, if they've had a really, really busy week, is my food has gone completely off kilt. I've just grabbed for convenience. I've grabbed for the first thing that I've got in my fridge, or I've grabbed for the first thing, which is really easy in the supermarket. And so today we really want to share some hacks that you're able to kind of incorporate, hopefully, which will help you get organised, help you to simplify the nutrition side of health and fitness.
Because nutrition is over 50% of health and fitness.
Yeah.
And for some people, nutrition might be sort of 90% of the whole deal. For bodybuilders, certainly, it's well over 50%. If you don't get your nutrition right, your muscle gains just aren't going to happen. Whatever how you do in the gym, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so getting that meal prep sorted is, I don't know about you, but for me, I found that getting my meal prep sorted was the key to getting real muscle gain consistently.
Yeah, totally. And one of the things, I totally get that people are busy. You know, kids are there, husbands are there, wives are there, and it can get really, really hectic. And you're like, so where am I going to find time to actually meal prep? Even the bodybuilders, the massive bodybuilders that are going into competitions, they're up hours and hours a day training in exactly the same position, you know, kids, family, dog, the lot. And so we kind of want to tap into how they manage to actually do that in the midst of a chaotic life. And we're going to be looking at how to track on MyFitnessPal. So actually to record your calories so you know how many you're eating, what your macros are on there as well. Looking for an ideal layout of food during the day of breakfast, your morning snack, lunch, your afternoon snack, an evening meal, and your supper.
Of course, you can only do these things if you really believe that meal prep is important. And that's the real first obstacle. Knowing that nutrition is 50%. I talk with bodybuilders in the gym all the time, and I'll talk to them and I'll see them pushing huge weights and stuff, and I'll say, talk to me about your food. And as soon as we start talking to you about your food, people are like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm just eating whatever comes into my head. I'm going to eat McDonald's. I've got a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken out there. And PTs are sometimes the worst.
Oh my.
At this.
Oh my.
PTs, you know what it's like. You go and train a bunch of people, go back to the staff room, and somebody's brought in donuts or a bag of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Because you've got to get your meal prep sorted. And one of the reasons why meal prep's important is it stops you heading for convenience foods.
Mm.
It also helps us to eat little and often. So ideally, if you're in a bodybuilding kind of situation, you want to be eating 6 or 7 meals each day, and evenly spaced out. And that's impossible. You can't, unless you live in the kitchen, you just can't keep preparing all those meals. So you've got to have a way of preparing them in advance. It's also really helpful to keep your macros on point. You're able to keep your nutrients on point because you're not just eating what you want to. You know, you're not just grabbing that convenience food. You're hungry, and so you grab whatever's easy. And what's easy is not often what you actually should be eating, which is chicken and rice and broccoli, but is a Mars bar or something like that, or a bowl of Wheatos or something like that.
Yeah.
And that makes it easy to track on something like MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
So as Joe said earlier, we're looking at these, for most people, it's going to be looking like breakfast, morning snack, lunch, afternoon snack, evening meal and supper.
Yeah.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meals. If you're bodybuilding, the more serious you are, those snacks are going to be mini meals.
Yeah.
So they're not, when we think of snacks, we often think of, grabbing a Mars bar or a
bag of nuts
or something like that. Or even a grenade bar or something like that. But the more serious you become, those snacks are going to become little meals in themselves.
Yeah. For a lot of our clients, the morning snack and the afternoon snack are actually liquid.
Yeah.
So they're your protein shakes that we're talking about here. So what are we going to actually incorporate into the meals itself? So when someone says to me, like food prep, I'm like, well, I don't even know what food to prep.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're talking... Imagine your Tupperware container.
Yeah.
It's the picture of the bodybuilder, isn't it? He's sitting down with a Tupperware container full of food with his protein shake next door to him. And the reason why that's a bit of a meme is because that's actually the way this is done.
Yeah.
So imagine you've got your Tupperware container. What are you going to put in that Tupperware container? Because if you... just getting the Tupperware is not enough if you're going to fill it up with, you've got 6 Tupperware containers, each full of, half a cup of Wheatos.
Yeah, I think what we do is we start at breakfast, because a good way of prepping your breakfast is overnight oats.
That's really good.
So overnight oats, the night before, measure out your oats, 25 grams, 30 grams of oat, 35 grams, whatever oats you're on, pop your milk in, pop your fruit, pop your nuts, and then put that in the fridge to soak overnight.
Or if you have, like we do, hot porridge in the morning, we always stick it in the pan, get it all ready, apart from the milk, and then when we wake up in the morning, first thing we do is add the milk to the oats, and then sit in bed with a cup of tea, the oats are soaking and then and cooking whilst we're sort of getting up and getting ourselves organised. So just that little bit of organisation, even the day before, is a really helpful hack, because it starts your day right.
Yeah.
So your breakfast is an easy one, and we've spent a lot of time talking about breakfasts, so you don't really want to talk about that too much. And you can't prep breakfast more than just get your oats ready.
Pretty much, yeah.
Incorporating what's going to be in your Tupperware for the day, whether you have 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 little meals during the day, you're looking at incorporating, you need a protein source in there.
Yeah.
So that could be red meat, white meat, fish, tofu, something like that.
Tempeh.
And you can add those, mix it up. So during the course of a week, we want to be having red meat, white meat, fish, and a soy tofu or something like that sort of substitute in there.
Yeah.
So we're getting a broad range of foods. Now, if you're, once again, the higher you are in your bodybuilding, you might even be incorporating it. So in any one day, you may get a red meat meal, a white meat meal, a fish meal in one day.
Whoa.
So you're getting all of this complete nutrient profile. You want to be incorporating eggs and dairy each day. This is assuming that you've got a full, you can eat anything. Eggs and dairy, eggs are a fantastic food. So in your Tupperware, you're incorporating a mixture of slow digesting carbs in there. Perhaps rice. Rice is easy peasy for food prep.
Yeah.
Sweet potato, easy. You can make it up beforehand.
Rice noodles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mashed potato, you can do that. You can get all that pasta. You can sort all that stuff out. You can do it in batch beforehand.
Yeah.
You're incorporating a variety of veg in there, incorporating some fruit every day. And you want a few nuts and seeds and stuff like that each day. So that's what you're looking at to get this balanced nutritional profile over the course of the day.
So just to give an example, if that's right, because I love examples.
Please do.
So if I listen to a podcast like this, I'm like, right, give me an example of one. So, for example, you undo your Tupperware pot and in there you've got a chicken breast, seasoned.
Yep.
Perhaps you, like me, you can't just have chicken breast without, I don't know, some barbecue powder on it, some garlic seasoning on it. Those kind of seasonings, they're kind of, I call them free calories because you're just seasoning. So a chicken breast in there. A fistful of vegetables. So whether that's broccoli, so some greenery is really good in there. Broccoli, some carrots, perhaps some cauliflower. Everything that's going to have some proper nutrient value I put in there. Beta carotene, especially on the old carrot front. So you've got your protein, you've got your vegetables, and then I'll have a little bit of carbs in there. So I'll have a little bit of rice, which I can heat up in the microwave and actually pop into the Tupperware box. A little bit of sweet potato, a little bit of pasta, perhaps a little bit of rice noodle, or Tesco's or Sainsbury's do brilliant little multi-seeded flatbreads, and they're just over 100 calories for a flatbread. So that's a good example of a good Meal prep box.
Yeah, and if you're prepping beforehand, obviously you might be batch cooking a large amount of rice. But we're going to talk about some other hacks as we go through here.
Yeah.
And the first thing we really want to talk about here and how we actually get prepared is you've got to get some stuff, some gear, some equipment to make this work. And it's Tupperware is your friend here.
They also do glass, by the way,
do.
if you're looking to be a bit climate friendly.
So you're going to have to, if you don't nothing to put this stuff in, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
It's no good just having it in a big bowl in the fridge. You need to have it it's not just about cooking the stuff, it's about pre-weighing it. So you assuming that you won't have time during the day to prepare it, but you also probably won't have time to weigh it out. So you've got to get it all prepared. So all you do is you take the box and you just mindlessly eat the thing. Especially if you're, as a bodybuilder, you're eating 6 or 7 meals a day. You don't have time to think about that. And if you're carb depleted coming up to a competition, you don't have the brain to be able to weigh it out or work it out.
Yeah.
And so you just need to have it there and you just eat it, put it down the old hole. With that, you're going to need a microwave. Microwaves, it's very hard to get away without a microwave. Microwaves have revolutionised meal because you can get your meal, keep it nice in the fridge, pull it out, just whack it in the microwave, heat the thing up, you're sorted.
Yeah.
Now, a freezer is also really helpful. A big old chest freezer. You can make up hundreds. Literally, we used to, when we lived in a big house, we used to have a big chest freezer
full of
and
it.
a big standard up freezer. And we could have 100 or 200 meals in there, which we had prepared, and we would batch prepare dozens and dozens of meals. Every time we cooked something, so let's cook some chicken breasts, we'd cook 20 chicken breasts and 20 loads of veg and 20 loads of rice. And we'd put it all together, weigh it out, put it in the Tupperware, slam it in the freezer. Now, we live now in a small apartment, and so we don't have a freezer. We have a very small fridge, and we don't have a lot of storage space. And so that's a different matter as well, because for many people, what do I do if I live in, I don't live on a ranch. I don't have, sometimes you see these American YouTube channels and they're talking about food prep, and they've got they live in a house that's 50,000 square meters house, and they've got whole rooms set aside with their freezers and stuff, and we don't have that, especially if you live in a small flat. So how do you do that? And the other thing you're going to have to get is some scales, some good
scales.
Kitchen scales. So you've got to weigh this stuff out. And if meal prep is the number one key, the second key is actually scaling it. Weigh it.
Yeah, totally. The second way, the second hack is to buy quality convenience. Now, I know we mentioned before that, try and stay away from convenient food. This is a bit different. We're talking about microwave rice.
Yeah. Microwave, those packets of Uncle Ben's and other ones, supermarkets, they all do these different.
They're about 50p for own price, to be honest, which we buy. They're in the microwave for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And we pop those into our little lunch box of whatever we've got in there, whether that's chili or chicken, or a little bit of tofu in there, a little bit of cod, tuna. So microwave rice. And they do things like basmati. There's brown rice out there. There's wholemeal rice. You've got all the different...
egg fried rice. There's all sorts of flavours out there which you can get.
Yeah.
The other thing about this is that if you're like us and you live in a small space, then you can't obviously batch cook loads of rice and you can't put it in the freezer. But like this, you can have those little packets. They're easy to get. You can just take the packet of rice with you.
Yeah.
So if I go to the gym, I'll take my Tupperware. It will have my meat in.
Yeah.
And then I'll take a little packet of Uncle Ben's and I'll sling it in the microwave for 2 minutes. Half a pack of that is exactly right with the chicken breast for me.
Yeah,
it works just
half
nice.
A pack of rice, of microwave rice, is roughly 120, 125 grams.
Yeah.
If you need a bit of quickness, oh my gosh, how do I work that out? It's 125 grams for half a pack of microwave rice.
Yeah.
Also, I find really, really helpful is microwave vegetable bags.
Yeah.
Microwave vegetable bags, I get broccoli and cauliflower, or sometimes I'll mix it up and have a bit of tender stem broccoli in there. Just kind of like keep yourself guessing, or keep, when you open your little tuck box, you get surprised. You're like, oh, this vegetable today. Broccoli vegetable bags are about 90p from the supermarket.
So today's a good example for us. We've had our breakfast this morning, first thing.
Yeah.
We went to the gym, and then after that we had a protein shake, and a fantastic protein shake. That was all good. We talked about those in previous podcasts.
In another podcast.
And we're now heading up towards lunch. So lunch, we're on a tight schedule today with recording this. And so lunch, we've got some chicken that we've pre-prepared. That's already cooked. We're going to just pop that in. We're going to stick some in the microwave, some microwave rice and microwave a bag of broccoli.
Yeah.
Bish bash bosh, you're sorted.
Within 5 minutes.
It's not sexy, but in 5 minutes we've got our food sorted, and it's good food. And because it's convenience, you actually stick with it. And this is one of the problems, is if you become very puritanical about this and say, well, I'm going to dig all my fruit and veg fresh from the ground and stuff, that's okay, but you probably won't. You're probably going to head for bad convenience as opposed to good convenience.
Yeah.
So if you're particularly, unless you've got loads of time or loads and loads of space, things like little bags of rice and bags of veg and stuff like that can be really helpful.
Frozen veg. Obviously, we do veg bags because we don't have a freezer. Frozen veg is actually really, really good, because by the time they've popped it into freezation, or whatever you call it, all the nutrients have held themselves within the veg. So a handful of that out your freezer, into the microwave, bosh.
Yeah, don't ever knock frozen veg. Frozen veg has more nutrients generally than fresh veg, simply because it hasn't been hanging around for so long.
Yeah, totally. So, number 3.
One of the things which we've got to do is get a new headspace.
Yeah.
A new headspace with food prep. And the thing is it's boring. Not only is it boring producing it, it's boring eating the stuff. So we've got to change our headspace. We've got to get used to the fact that we're going to be eating similar foods every day.
But there's also, so I managed to find a way of actually spicing that up.
Mm-hmm.
So things like piri-piri seasoning is amazing. Smoky barbecue seasoning is amazing. And so you just kind of, you go for a different one every time.
And seasonings are better than sauces. Yeah. Sauces stay away from. Seasonings are okay.
Seasonings, little powders are great. So yeah, new headspace. So when you get to, for example, a Sunday afternoon and you've got the whole week ahead of you, for example, I don't know, you're a teacher or you're going to be in the office all day. Sunday afternoon, start your meal prep.
Yeah.
Get your chicken breasts out.
Yes, do that.
I said your chicken breasts. If you want convenience of chicken breasts, you can actually buy proper frozen chicken breasts that have already actually been cooked, and all you do is you wallop one of those in your lunchbox, and you don't actually have to pre-cook it. It's already done. You just might heat it up in the microwave.
That's lovely.
So start your meal prep on a Sunday. That's a major one. So
another issue here is that you've got to get over the issue of you turning up. So let's say you're a teacher in the staff room and you're eating lunch. Everybody brings out their sexy lunches or their lunch which they've got from Tesco's. Isn't it a strange world we live in now, where you can come with a meal deal from Tesco's, but if you come with a home-cooked packed lunch kind of thing, almost you're looked down upon. It's a very strange thing. But you've got to get used to the fact you're just going to bring out your Tupperware and you're just going to eat your broccoli. You're just going to do this because you're not going to look like the way they look in a year's time. And that leads to understanding that food is fuel, not fun. So there has to be a big shift. We've spent most of our lives using food as a comfort thing, as a way we self-medicate for psychological disturbance, for psychological for depression and so on.
Gratification.
And so, yes, psychological gratification. So we try and feed a problem in the mind with food for the stomach, and of course that causes huge problems.
Yeah.
So a gradual change here is to change the way we view food. So we view food as simply fuel. Now, there are days when you go, I'm going to have fun today. This is my cheat day. I'm going to have a nice meal.
But it makes it
out.
more fun, doesn't it?
Yes.
Because that's a day. And here's one of the things, is I know some of you mums are going to be saying, oh, but what about the kids? The kids won't eat that. So I now have to multi-cook. You can make this fun for your kids, to be honest, by seasoning it well. Actually, it'd be good for them, to be honest, because it's a really good kind of option for a meal. But also, because you've done your food prep, it means that yours is already done.
Yeah. That's, the point is that most people have to cook separately for their kids anyway, or most people do cook separately.
Spent years doing that.
So food is fuel, not fun. Let's come to the nitty-gritty here. So we cook multiple portions. One of the keys, cook multiple portions. When you cook anything, never cook one thing. So if I'm cooking potato, I cook a whole bag of potatoes.
Yeah.
I mash not one potato, I mash a whole sack of potatoes, portion them up into about 150 gram dollops, and then stick them. I can wrap those in cling film and bung them in the microwave, in the freezer. I've now got them all there. All I've got is these little balls of potato, nicely wrapped up. I just pull them out, sling them in the microwave.
Yeah.
I can then also put them in my Tupperware. Mm-hmm. Now, when we had big freezers, we perhaps had 200 or 300 Tupperware containers.
Oh man.
We had Tupperware coming out of our ears.
Yeah.
And so we would have it all in there. You'd go and look in your freezer and you say, should we have chicken with sweet potato, or chicken with regular potato, or chicken
should we have
with
a chili?
rice? Or
should we have... Yeah, it was all in there.
And these are another great option. Things like chilies, bologneses, and these sort of things we
and we
make
were a
up
lot
with meats.
busier then, I think. We were a lot busier then. But it was definitely doable.
Cooking up big batch foods is helpful. So chilies are a bodybuilder's friend because it's nutrient dense. You cook up vast batches in get yourself one of those really big tureen kind of, the things you cook, your grandmother used to cook in.
Yeah.
Cook up, 3 or 4 or 5 pound of chili in there at one go. Get it right. Get it just how you like it. And then portion it up.
Yeah. Divide it
up. Yeah. On your kitchen scales. All you need to do then is add to that. You might take in with you your bag of rice, which you're going to microwave, some fresh veg, some fresh fruit, so on. But your work's done for you. So cook multiple portions. Cook it all up at once. Weigh it into Tupperware. Yeah. Weigh it into Tupperware. You can actually make this fun. If you've got kids, you can get the kids involved here. Give them the big bowl of potato and say, okay, kids, I want you to weigh 150 grams into each container. And you've got like 30 containers out on the kitchen tabletop.
Yeah.
100 grams of protein, 150 grams of carbs, handful of veggies, a pinch of nuts or seeds. Kids love getting involved in that. And if they're involved in producing it, they're much more likely to eat it. Although I think whatever you do with broccoli and sprouts, kids are probably going to turn their noses
anything
up.
that's green really with kids, isn't it? Really, it was actually anything green really until you're in your 30s, I think, and your taste buds started to change. But today has kind of been our hope that we can really kind of give you some practical ways how to strike gold on this, because there is. I totally get that life gets. It just overtakes you and overwhelms you. But if you're starting the week and you know that all your food preps are done, so you know your lunches are already taken care of, you know your dinners are already taken care of, and it just kind of takes the stress away from it all, doesn't it?
Well, I know a mother who, for her kids, she's got 4 kids, they're all at school, and in order to sort their lunches out, she batch makes all their sandwiches at the beginning of the week and sticks them in the freezer.
Whoa.
And she's got the whole lot done. It's the only way she can organise herself. And that's great, but it's how we organise ourselves as well. If we want to make sure that we eat right, eat a good broad spectrum of nutrients, and eat enough small meals to make sure that we maximise what we're doing at the gym. So we set aside time to plan this out.
Yeah.
You're going to have to plan it out, get your ducks in line, go shopping, grocery shopping, and buy the stuff you need for that week.
And here's the thing, whilst you're prepping it, whilst you're cooking it, pop your iPad in the kitchen and watch some Netflix or something.
Yeah.
You know, make it fun, make it a fun time. But it is going to take that time to actually start prepping it during the week. But once you get the hang of it, for all those who received our Monday morning motivation, that all of life is sets and reps, you'll be away. Like, you'll be like, oh yeah, this is easy. What should we do this week?
And then once you've taken the time to cook it, eat what you planned. Follow the plan. So you're there, you've got 200 meals set ahead of you. It's easier to follow the plan when you've got them set up. But it's also tempting to say, tonight's a Domino's night and tomorrow's this, and stick with the plan, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we want to hear from you about your hacks.
Yeah.
We have just thrown out a couple of our hacks, a few of particularly how we do this in a small environment, like living in an apartment. But we want to hear from you. What are your hacks? Get in touch with us, message us, put it on the bottom of this podcast. Just put your ideas on there. Share some stuff around on our forums, because we'd love to hear from you and know what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we hope this has been helpful to you. We love being with you on a Thursday. Also, if there's anything particular that you actually want us to cover, please get in touch. Tom@tojofitness.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tojo Fitness.
And on that channel, we actually have a supermarket shop we did a while back.
Yes.
Which covers some of the hacks from this.
I may actually do like a
one.
batch cook YouTube video as well. That might be an idea as well. But have a fab week. We hope you've enjoyed listening to this podcast. Do get in touch with us as well. Instagram @TojoFit, Facebook Tojo Fitness. We're all out there and we can't wait to hear from you.
God bless you. Have a wonderful week.